Hi, welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making apricot-filled Kolachky cookies. I've been making these cookies for years with my daughters and granddaughters, and they're just a delight. Everyone loves them. I use two sticks of butter. The recipe calls for 2 sticks of butter. Oh, the dog wants to eat the... The dog, we have a golden doodle and he loves to lick the butter off the paper. So, and here's the cream cheese. Some people like to do this in the stand mixer, but I think it's just as easy doing it by hand. Then you're not scraping the dough out of the beaters. Of course, you know, some people don't mind that, but I like to do it this way better. So first you mix the butter and the cream cheese, and when it's soft enough, it mixes really well, incorporates really well. And it's good for your arms. It gives you exercise. Just scrape it off with the scraper. As you can see, that mixed up really quick because it was the right temperature. So that's 2 sticks of butter, and please make sure you use good butter and also use your high-grade Philadelphia cream cheese. Don't buy generic. Okay, next is 2 cups of flour. I use all-purpose flour and measure it out. So you just sprinkle 1 cup in at a time. And now it gets a little harder to mix. But if you do it in a stand mixer, you are definitely going to get it all over the place. And I don't like big messes. See how it's coming together? Just keep mixing it and mixing it. And use your scraper. This is the not so fun part of making Kolachky cookies. Of course, the fun part is eating them, but it's a process. It's not just an afternoon project. I won't be, after the dough all comes together, I'll let it stay in the fridge overnight. And then tomorrow we'll do the rolling and putting the goodies in it and the baking. Okay, we're ready for another cup. Now, over the last years, I have made mistakes with the Kolachkys. I hadn't made them for a while, and I thought I remembered really well how many sticks of butter and how much cream cheese. But one year, I accidentally made it with 1 stick of butter and 1 8-ounce bar of cream cheese. They weren't bad, but they weren't good. And I knew I made a mistake. So I got out the old Slovak cookbook and looked up the recipe, and I found out what my mistake was. Okay, now is the time for the ball to rest in the fridge. It's going to be in the fridge till tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. I've kept it in the fridge for as much as 2-3 days. So there it is. Well, the dough has been resting in the refrigerator for 24 hours, and you don't have to keep it that long, but it needs to chill for at least 8 hours. I had it out earlier to start to soften because otherwise it's really, really hard. It has to be to a certain consistency. Now, yesterday when we were making the dough, I told you about my little trick that I've discovered because it's warm. Today is a very warm day here in Florida, and we need for the table to be cold. So I have made a bag full of ice cubes which chill down the counter. That works a lot better than letting the dough get warmer and warmer. So I only work with half of the dough at a time. Put the rest back in the fridge. Okay, now the ice has cooled down the counter, and you can feel it's nice and cool. But it can't be wet, so I have to wipe this down. I'm pretty sure the dough is correct. It's not going to be too warm. So let's see how it goes. Smoosh it down. It's going to need a little flour. You want to roll the dough out to about 1/4 of an inch or less. If you go less than 1/4 of an inch, sometimes the dough starts breaking up. So get it as thin as you can possibly do it without having it break up. A little more flour. Okay, now I'll cut it into squares, and you can reuse these pieces. Kind of looks like the state of Wisconsin. About 2 inch by 2 inch. This is pretty thick over here. Okay, we'll use that next time around. This is pretty thick over here. Now this is kind of thick. I would like it to be thinner than that. So I think I'll just do that one next time around, but the rest of them seem pretty good. Now here we go. You just take a little dab of the apricot, not too much. This is Solo brand apricot filling. And I'm closing it up and I give it a little pinch. The oven is set at 400 degrees, and I'll cook them for about 12 minutes. They're not all perfect. Okay, the oven's at 400 degrees, and we'll put the first batch in right now, and I'll leave them in for 12 minutes. I'll give them one more minute. Now, I think these are perfect. You know, some of them open up a little bit, but that doesn't usually happen. Now I let them cool for about 5 minutes before I put any powdered sugar on. Now I think this batch is cooled enough. I'm going to sprinkle it with the first shot of powdered sugar. For the final presentation, you might want to sprinkle a little bit more powdered sugar on it. If you found this video useful, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Another thing I wanted to say is that I always line my cookie sheets with aluminum foil or parchment paper. It helps with the cleanup because you're going to want to sprinkle your powdered sugar on while they're still warm. And speaking of warm Kolachky cookies, there's nothing as good as a warm Kolachky cookie. I think I'll have one. You're gonna love them.